Hey guys, good morning. Alright, so as you can see, you guys have a sub today. It's going to be fun. Miss Jackie's going to take good care of you guys, and if you treat her good, she's going to treat you good, okay? Alright, you're going to have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Alright, so let's get started with our lesson. So we have been working on Christmas stories and trying to learn about, the real meaning of Christmas and what's important about Christmas. And we learned when we read about the Grinch. Remember, the Grinch thought that the presents were all what made Christmas. You couldn't have you couldn't have Christmas without presents. At the end of the story, was that true? Is that what he learned? Yeah, he learned that presents had nothing to do with Christmas. The Who's could still celebrate and have Christmas even with all their presents gone. It didn't matter to them. They had each other and they could still celebrate. That was what was important to Christmas, not the presents. So, okay, you guys just hopefully got all done reviewing the vocabulary words from the Grinch. We're going to go ahead and read a story today called Wishing for Christmas. It is not an AR testable book, but we'll still work with some things on it, okay? Alright, so, Wishing for Christmas. Oops, wrong one. Alright, so our next story, this Wishing for Christmas, is about a young girl named Shirley and her family. And Shirley's family lived in a time called the Great Depression. And we'll talk just a little bit about the Great Depression. Does it sound like a happy time in history? No, they called it the Great Depression. Yeah, that doesn't sound happy at all. They were all depressed. And that's pretty much how everybody felt back then. It was during the 1930s, so almost about 100 years ago. A lot of things that were going on during the Great Depression. A lot of people lost their jobs and they didn't have money for anything. Some of them lost their houses. They couldn't afford anything really. So it was like a pretty depressing time in history, and that's why they called it the Great Depression. So this girl Shirley, her family lives during this Great Depression. So you can guess that how's Christmas gonna be during the Great Depression? Yeah, may not be such a good time, but we're going to read this story about Shirley and find out what happens with her and her family, okay? Alright, so first things first, we're going to look at the vocabulary words, okay? Alright, so vocabulary words for Wishing for Christmas. We have, I think, 7 of them? Did I count right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there's 8. I lied. 8. Let's read them real quick and we'll talk about what they mean, and then we'll play our little game where we guess what word matches the picture. So, alright, the first word is abruptly. Yep, can you say abruptly? Good, abruptly. Alright, so abruptly kind of means suddenly. If something happens abruptly, it happens like all of a sudden. You weren't expecting it. Miss Lisa just jumps in the room and gives us all candy canes. We weren't expecting that. That's abruptly. The fire alarm goes off. We weren't expecting it. It just happens all of a sudden. That's abruptly. Eli just accidentally falls out of his seat. We weren't expecting that. It happened abruptly. It just all of a sudden. Suddenly it happened. You weren't expecting it. So that's abruptly. Alright, our next one is overwhelmed. Alright, so overwhelmed is like when you have a lot of things kind of going on, or you have a lot of things that you have to do and get done. And it's kind of a feeling you feel when you have so much to do. Do you think that's a good feeling? No, it's kind of almost like a nervous or anxious feeling when you feel overwhelmed, because there's just so much you've got to do and so much going on and you feel very overwhelmed. There's just so much to do. So it's kind of almost a nervous feeling when you feel overwhelmed. Alright, reluctantly. Reluctantly kind of means that you are unwilling to do something. You don't want to do it. You might have reluctantly came to school. You didn't really want to. You had to, but you didn't really want to. That's reluctantly. You might reluctantly share the last piece of cake with your little brother or sister. It's a big old piece of chocolate cake. It looks so good. You want it all. Mom tells you have to share it. You reluctantly, share it with them. You didn't want to, but you did it reluctantly. That's what reluctant means. You don't really want to do it. You're not looking forward to it. It's not something you want to do. cleaning out the kitty litter box. You have to do it, but you know, it's not a lot of fun. You do it reluctantly. You didn't really want to do that. All right, so tone is our next one. Tone kind of has to do with like the tone of your voice. Like I've heard people say, young lady, you know, I don't like that tone of voice. Maybe when you're smart aleck to your mom or something, or yelling at her, she might tell you she don't like that tone of voice. Yeah, you can have your tab. Your tablet's in the car. Well, you can go get it. Sorry. It's in the car. Go get it. Be careful, okay? Sorry, guys. All right, anyway, tone, your tone of voice. And it has to do with, like, your feeling. You could have, like, a nice tone of voice, like a little kindergartner falls in the hallway and you help them up. Oh, hon, are you okay? Are you going to be all right? Do you want a Band-Aid? That would be a good tone. Or, like, if you are yelling at, I don't know, somebody on the playground stole your ball and you're yelling at them. You have a mean tone of voice. So your tone is kind of like how you, like the mood that you're in and the way that you're feeling. And when you talk, you can have like a mean tone or a nice tone. But yeah, that's a tone. All right, barren. Gotta go let AJ in. I'll be right back. Let me get AJ. I'm coming. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm back. All right, our next word was barren. Before we put any ornaments on the Christmas tree, it was barren. When I have to take all the desks and everything out of the room and put it in the hallway at the end of the year, the room is barren. What's barren? Yeah, it means like empty. There's nothing there. If something's barren. This tray, it's barren. There's nothing in it right now. It's barren. What did we say? This is barren? No, that has tons of markers in it. It's not barren. Only empty things are barren. Alright, so your next one is whimpered. Sometimes my dog whimpers when it's like in the floor and it wants me to put it up in the bed with me. She'll be like, what's a whimper? Yeah, it's like a little cry. It's not like you're bawling like, that's not a whimper, but it'd be like when you're just crying a little bit, that's a whimper. And yeah, my dog kind of cries a little bit to make me put her in the bed. She's like, so I put her up there. That's just a little cry. That's a whimper, when you just cry just a little. All right, usher. All right, usher. Maybe there's a new kid in school. We've had lots of new kids in these classes. And maybe Miss Lisa asks you to usher them down the hallway. Or if they need to go to the nurse and they don't know where it's at, I may ask you to usher them to the nurse. So what's usher mean? Yeah, it kind of means like you lead somebody there, or you show them where it's at. That's what an usher does. Maybe if you don't know, they don't know where the playground's at, you could usher them to the playground. Or they don't know where Miss Julia's class is, you could usher them to Miss Julia's class. It just means you kind of take them there. You lead them where they're going. Maybe if they, like in New York City, when I was in New York, if I didn't know how to get to Central Park, I could have asked somebody and they maybe would have ushered me to Central Park. They would have showed me the way. All right, last one, generosity. All right, you probably have heard of being generous before, or having generosity. What does that mean if you are generous? All right. It kind of means, yeah, like you like to give things to people. You like to help them. If you're being generous, like maybe one of your friends didn't have money to buy candy in the office and you're generous, you give them some money. That's being generous or having generosity. It's when you give somebody something when they need it. Somebody was really hungry at lunch and you're not going to eat your hamburger, so you give it to them. That's generosity. You're giving something to somebody else. That's being generous when you give things to somebody. All right, so let's see how well you remember these words. All right. Now, don't yell it out yet, but I want you to look at the picture and try to remember which one of these words would best fit this picture. So which one do you think? All right, go ahead. Now, which one would it be? All right, I think the best one for this one would probably be, yeah, generosity, because he is giving his apple to her. He's being generous. So yeah, generosity matches this one. What about this one? Don't yell it yet. Think about it. Okay, now, what is it? Yeah, I think the best one for this one would be barren, because this is empty. There's nothing there. It's barren. So yeah, I think barren would match it. Bye. See you Thursday. All right, so there's barren. All right, what about this one, do you think? Think about it for a minute. Don't yell it out. Which one meant that you cry just a little bit? Go ahead and say it. Yeah, whimper, because she's whimpering. She's not like, bawling and throwing a big old fit, but she's whimpering. She's crying just a little. All right. Ooh. Don't yell it. I mean, it looks like she's speaking really nice to him, but I bet he would be yelling. Which word kind of meant like the sound of your voice, or like how you're feeling when you talk? Go ahead and say it. Yeah, tone, like the tone of your voice. You can have like a nice tone or a mean tone of your voice, depending on how you're feeling, your mood. All right, try that one. I bet that's what some of you guys look like in the morning. It doesn't look like he wants to go. It looks like probably school. He's got a backpack on. What word mean like you really didn't want to do something? You maybe have to, but you didn't want to. Go ahead. Yeah, reluctantly. Reluctantly means you didn't really want to do it. All right. It kind of looks like this teacher, I'm assuming she's a teacher, is helping these kids, maybe showing them where to go. She's even got her hand on his back, kind of guiding him. What word meant like when you show somebody where to go, or you kind of help them get there? Don't say it yet. All right, go ahead. Which one is it? Yeah, usher. You usher them where they need to go. All right. Oh. Looks like she's got like a million things to do almost. I'm telling her, hey, hurry up. There's your phone. There's this phone. Sign this paper. I bet she's feeling, don't say it, how she's feeling. Go ahead. I bet she's feeling overwhelmed. Yes. Overwhelmed is when you have so much to do and it kind of stresses you out. All right. Good job. We'll practice some more with those tomorrow, okay? But those are some words you're going to see in the story, so I want to make sure you knew them. All right, so I'm going to let Miss Jackie go ahead and pass out your story. When you get it, it should look just like this, except yours won't be in color. She can go ahead and pause this video or take just a second and pass it all out for everybody. Okay, hopefully you've got it. If not, just go ahead and pause it and I'll wait on you guys to get it. This is a story about a little girl named Shirley is her name, remember. And remember, her family does live during the Great Depression. It was not a happy time in America. It was very depressing. Nobody had jobs. They didn't have money. And I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of this to you. And then I will let you guys finish it as a whole class. Miss Jackie can kind of pick some people. You read it out loud together. And then there is a little test that you're going to show me what you've learned about Shirley and her family. All right, so I'm going to start reading. Oops, there we go. All right. It doesn't seem that long ago, the Christmas of my 8th birthday. We had recently moved to 194 Poplar Street in New Haven, Connecticut. It was our 6th move that year. Our new home was a 4-room apartment on the 2nd floor of a run-down Victorian house. We shared a bathroom at the end of the hall with 3 other families. It was 1939, and the Great Depression had made all of our lives much harder. We were poor. We knew it. But we didn't know how poor we were until our father set my sisters and me down on the couch in our living room to have a talk. I will always remember the sad look in Father's eyes as he stared down at his hands, rubbing them back and forth while he searched for the words to tell us that our family wasn't going to celebrate Christmas this year. So, that doesn't sound very good, does it? Why can't this family celebrate Christmas? Okay, I think you might be right. There's some more clues when you read, and that might even be a question on the test. It might ask you why they can't celebrate Christmas. Just warning you. Hopefully you figured it out, why they can't celebrate. But I'm going to let you go ahead and read this out loud together. Finish the story. It is a very good story. I liked it a lot. It's kind of sad, but it had a happy ending. I liked its happy ending. And then you'll take the little quiz for it, okay? All right. Be ready to tell me tomorrow what you think you learned or what these people learned about Christmas and why Christmas was so important, okay? All right. Bye, guys.